Welcome back to Making, your source for encouragement in chaos. Today we start something new. See, the algorithms are constantly changing on every platform, and honestly, I have a hard time keeping up. So instead of trying to play the game, I want to create something that feels real, simple, and encouraging. Something that's more like sitting across the table with a friend. So let me introduce you to Cup of Encouragement. Yes, I have a different kind of cup. It's my husband's cup. We're at the church and we're working. That's why the background is slightly different. But I want to explain why this series is here. See, this series was born out of my desire to create a space that isn't dictated by algorithms, trends, or the pressure to perform. So it can truly be exhausting, especially for me as a wife, a mother, a homeschool mom, a pastor's wife. See, I carry a lot of hats, and I know that so many of you do too. But I wanted to create a cozy corner where we can talk honestly about everyday questions. Sometimes sourdough, sometimes homemaking, sometimes faith, and always let you walk away with encouragement. So unlike my podcast or my blog, where the content is more structured, Cup of Encouragement is conversational, face-to-face, and it's personal. My hope is that every time you join me here, you leave feeling both practically helped and spiritually uplifted. Now, today, as I said, I'm recording this in my office, but I wanted to talk a little bit about our YouTube channel. We're currently at 450 subscribers. And honestly, numbers aren't my main goal. What matters most to me is bringing you something that reaches deep into your soul or simply reminds you that you've got this. See, it's easy to get caught up in the rat race of life, always feeling like we have to measure up. Sure, numbers and growth are great, but even if money never comes, it's okay. I want this to be a place of encouragement in the chaos of your life. So let's talk about what Cup of Encouragement is going to do. You submit a question, I answer it usually in the comments. I try to make sure I get it. But sometimes your questions are good enough that I feel like that it would be great to make a video on because it's a common question that I get a lot of, and this might help someone else. So our first question today, the one that I have gotten recently, is can you use sourdough discard to start another starter? And that's a really good question because a lot of people don't know what to do with their discard and they don't just want to throw it away. I personally, once I have discard, I use it in other recipes. I love that. I think it's a great tool. I don't ever throw my discard away, but when you're starting a starter, once it's established and it is discard, or even if it hasn't been established yet, yes, you can go ahead and you can start another starter from that. You can give it to a friend and a friend can do it. You just follow the same process that you would be doing in your journey of starting a starter. I hope that answers that question. I do know also that you can start another starter from that. I found recently I grain my own flour, as most of you already know if you follow me here for any length of time. And I did find recently that I could take my whole wheat flour, put it in with my regular starter discard. I use a discard. I'd put it in there and I mix it up just like I typically would do. And I created a whole wheat starter. I was in awe. Now, this is something that some of you may already know. And you may be like, seriously, you didn't know this? Well, I didn't, but I do now so that I don't have to have two different starters sitting in my refrigerator, one whole wheat and one regular. I can have my whole wheat starter in just a day and it usually rises faster. I guess it's the protein count. I don't know. Don't get me started on that because like I said, I'm not the smartest individual in the world and I leave that to other people. But for me, I was able to do that so that I can just get the starter that I need as I need it. So I had the whole wheat starter so that I could have it for later. So yes, the answer is yes, you can use discard. Discard isn't dead. It's just unfed. So if you start feeding it regularly again, it can grow into its own healthy starter. Okay. I think it's one of the most amazing things. You can go to makeandmaking.com And I have lots of discard recipes on there. I use them quite frequently. I use it for my family. I actually have some in my refrigerator today because we're here. I made some sourdough discard pizza dough. Amazing. And so we're getting ready to use it. But if you try it, just feed it with the flour that you want to use long term. Give it a few days, and I promise it'll come back to life again. So hope that answers your question. Now, here's what I love about that. What feels like waste or leftovers can actually become the beginning of something new. See, God works the same way in our lives. We may feel like there are pieces of us that don't matter anymore and that we're being set aside, but in His hands, nothing is wasted. I mean, I don't know. I take that so much to thought, to think that God takes me, something that's been thrown off to the side, maybe by the world. Maybe you feel like nobody cares anymore, anything like that. Maybe it's just life in general. But God takes those things and He puts them back together and He makes us whole again. See, life and even these platforms can feel unpredictable, but God is steady. And just like the starter can be renewed from discard, He renews us. So I want you to remember 2 Corinthians 5:17. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come. See, that truth steadies us. And I hope that it will always steady you. So yes, you can start a new starter from discard, and it might just surprise you what it grows into. And maybe that's a reminder that we all need. God can take what feels like the discard of our lives and create something beautiful. I really hope this encourages you today. I would love to hear from you. I would like to know what question that you would like for me to answer next on this cup of encouragement. These episodes will be once a month, so your question might be the one that we actually sit down with next time. I want to make sure that I'm encouraging you. I hope this did. I hope this encouraged you today. And if it did, I would love for you to share it with a friend who might need it. And I would love for you to hit the like and subscribe button so that you don't miss the next month's cup of encouragement. But I want you to remember that I am always praying for you, even if I don't know who you are. God bless.